Vladimir Antonov. What is consciousness? What is consciousness? Someone will say that it is the same as the mind, intellect. Also, in the Soviet time in Russia, the term public consciousness was common, i.e., the generalized opinion of the human masses. But, in fact, the meaning of the word consciousness is closely related to the phenomenon of self-sensing, the real feeling of oneself not as the body or the mind. In fact, the mind is not able to feel itself. Thinking is only one of the functions of consciousness, but, namely the living energy, thinking, having a memory, emotions, etc., which can be fastened to the material body to one degree or another, or to be completely free from the body in unembodied status. The word consciousness is equivalent to the Sanskrit word buddhi, and namely in this sense it is used in spiritual literature. Also, there is the word soul, in Sanskrit jiva. Souls are incarnated by God into material bodies, relatively small bundles of living energy, which should develop themselves while living in these bodies. Each soul undergoes a long series of incarnations. In the most typical case, this occurs in a sequence of embodiments in bodies of plants, animals, and then later people. The reason for this is the qualitative and quantitative development of souls, for, in the end, they achieve the divine perfection and merge with the Creator, enriching Him with themselves. At the human stage of development, a soul, jiva, when it is already ripe for this by developing its mental function, intellect, may begin to become consciousness, buddhi. A soul should grow and develop itself, in each incarnation in a material body. But at the stage of being the consciousness, buddhi, a person exceeds the body in size and naturally learns to live outside it. Many people tried and try to learn how to leave the body, to stay out of it, at their earlier stages of development, when the soul is not ready for this yet. To do this, they use drugs or poisons, for example, urine. This leads to distortion of the development and disruption, weakening, primarily, of the intellectual function. But the most important thing is that the embodied soul must develop primarily the intellect. A significant stage in the development of a soul is the accommodation of basic religious knowledge. It is called faith. Faith in God's existence. For further development, faith is needed. But the faith must be correct, and this depends on the possession of the appropriate knowledge and the ability of the individual to adapt this knowledge, to adequately include it in one's world outlook. An extreme difference between the faiths of different people can be observed. High and higher levels of spirituality can be, and, on the other hand, primitivism consisting of hatred and enmity towards all who, for whatever reasons, are different from me or from us, that is, conformation of people of the same level of development, like a type of religious sects. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita told about the existence of the methods included in the section of spiritual knowledge, which is called Buddhi Yoga. All the divine teachers of humanity reached their status through the methods of Buddhi Yoga. Much information about this can be got from our books and films, the list of which is given in the end. Buddhi Yoga is the upper stage in the methodology of spiritual development, and it is very desirable that its complicated techniques not be taught to yet foolish people, because it can damage them. This is what I talked a lot about in my other books and articles. The cause, the inability of currently young souls to accommodate the ethical principles which are suggested to us by God, as well as the difficulty in integrating and differentiating various forms of methodological knowledge. That is, only the methods of development of the spiritual heart can be offered for the positive development of all, including children. These methods could do no harm, rather they will provide the basis for further successful spiritual growth, perhaps after the years or even much longer, when favorable conditions for this will be. Achieving the proper levels of A. Refinement, subtling, of the consciousness, and B. Its quantitative growth, on the background of stainless ethical purity, permits one to learn the clear direct perception of the Holy Spirits. Since that time, they become personal divine teachers for such spiritual devotees and lead them into the abode of the primordial to merge with Him. I will say a few words about the unembodied existence of people of different levels of development. Post-mortal fate of each one is determined by two main factors: A. The quantity and the closely related level of active capacity, and B. The level of coarseness or refinement. Those who have developed in themselves rough emotional qualities are in hell. There they are tortured by beings of their own sort. Souls who have accustomed themselves to the refined tenderness gain paradise, life among those similar to themselves, in a gentle caress with them, and taking care of the worthy of embodied beings. Between these two, there is a number of intermediate possibilities of life, in the layers of the so-called astral plane. The most primitive souls, regardless of their religion, rituals, and prayers, after the death of their material bodies, can continue to identify themselves with those corpses suffering from their rotting, or such souls are in a grotesque horror during the burning of their dead bodies in a crematory. But those who have achieved the perfection are accepted by the Creator in His abode. They merge there forever in the universal love with others who have attained. Then they reveal themselves to incarnate beings, as the Holy Spirits. Or they may even reincarnate in human bodies, to help embodied people more efficiently. So they become divine preachers and/or the wonder workers, demonstrating to people their, people's, spiritual potential. And each person has a choice, which direction to steer through life to.